Hey guys, my name is Lily and today I want to make a video about a topic that I really dislike, and it seems as if the warmongers have planned war for us here in Europe. And the first article that I want to show you today, actually it's a couple of articles which are really concerning, is this one here. So here in this article they are already discussing how we can prepare the healthcare system in case of a war. So they are saying we have to prepare now the anxiety of our healthcare system in case of a war scenario. They are now planning how many soldiers there would be wounded each day in case of a war with Russia. And here they are writing that they are planning or calculating with 1,000 wounded patients each day. So this article here is actually really concrete. So it's not just about some abstract kind of idea to go to war with Russia, but no, this is really concrete plans, and this is what's very concerning for me. So in the recent weeks I've read a whole lot of articles about the war. This one, for example, in which it's saying that in the case of war, because of Russia, Poland is calling their men to the military. So because of the unsure relations with Russia, Poland now wants to train every grown man, give them military training. Then also really concerning is this article here, and it's saying that Poland's Prime Minister, Donald Tusk, just announced that Poland is withdrawing from the Ottawa Treaty, which bans anti-personnel mines. So Poland will become the first EU state not to be part of the treaty. And they need this change of law because they probably will mine the borders with Kaliningrad and Belarus. Then they're also writing that women will get the opportunity to conduct military training, as if this is something good, you know. So, yeah, really concerning. Then also Germany does not have a compulsory military service right now. But because they will need more soldiers in future, they are now thinking about reintroducing the compulsory military service. So now they have made a survey. I don't know if this is true or not, but here they are saying that 58% of the Germans want the compulsory military service back. But it's mostly the old men who want that, because the young men actually, they are not in favor. So they voted for or against the compulsory military service, of course, because they are young, and of course this will be affecting their lives, right? Then also another warmongering article about a military expert who is saying that Russia will attack the European Union within 5 to 8 years. So Europe has to prepare for war against Russia, says a military expert. And the probability that Russia is going to attack one of the European Union countries is about 80%, and this will happen in the next 5 to 8 years. So in my opinion, this is just warmongering, and they just want to justify more expenses for the military. And yeah, that's actually also what's happening. So here you can see an article about Mrs. von der Leyen. She wants to pump 800 billion euros into the European military. I'm just asking myself where she wants to get the money from, because actually we don't have the money. So of course, because we don't have the money, a lot of this 800 billion dollars or euros will be just created out of nothing. So then we will have more debts, so that our future generations also have a part of this plan, right? So here you can see how much this actually is, because if you take a look at this graph, you can see the total expense of what was spent on the Ukrainian-Russia war so far. So from January 2022 to December 2024, the USA has spent $64 billion, and the European Union has spent $62 billion, including Great Britain. So altogether we spent about 126 billion up until now. But now they want to spend 800 more billions on this war or on military expenses. So that's really crazy. We don't have the money. Where is this going to come from? It's going to come from the taxpayer and from making more debts, because otherwise we cannot pay for it, right? Yeah, also, usually it's not allowed because of the European Union of some kind of Maastricht criteria to make so many debts. But of course they want to create some kind of loophole that you can still make a lot of debts, even if you are already in debts. Oh my god. Yeah, so crazy. This is just crazy, guys. Then here there's an article about how they want to nullify our neutrality. So they are saying that our neutrality, like Austria is neutral, is not a protection against war. So this is what they always have tried, that they want to take away our neutrality so that we can join NATO, for example. But you know, a lot of Austrians, we like our neutrality, and they've made a couple of surveys in the last couple of years, and the majority of the population is for our neutrality. So we want to be neutral, and I think that's a good idea, right? Again, another article about how Europe has to wake up and how we have to invest millions and billions into weapon systems. Here, another article about nuclear threats coming from Russia. So in general, I think it's a good idea to be prepared against nuclear threats. That's important. I think it's important as a civilian to have a Geiger counter and read about this topic in case you can deal with this subject. But of course, the way how they are writing it, I think it's warmongering. It's just putting people into fear. So it seems to me as if they want to make people anxious about a topic, and then people will approve spending their tax money on a certain subject. In this case, it's war. So as a hippie, I have to say, war is never good, okay? You don't want to have war. War really sucks. We don't need it and we don't want it. And a whole lot of Europeans, a lot of civilians, we don't want war. We just want to have peace, okay? And this is it. So we can have peace. It requires a certain amount of diplomacy, but we can have peace. Nobody has to die. Here there's also a really interesting article, interesting wording I have to say. They're saying that a dictated peace could have consequences for Austria because of the new relations between USA and Russia. We have to now fear a dictated peace for Ukraine. Oh really? A dictated peace? Come on. They're writing as if peace would be something bad, okay? Which is not the case, of course. So it's as if we are a little bit in this book 1984 where war is good and peace is bad or something. So it's really as if they are twisting around the whole concept of peace, you know. So that's really weird. A weird article, I have to say. So there's one concerning article about the war after the other. And meanwhile, our economy is getting wrecked by political decisions which are very questionable. So here you can see that a lot of the shops are empty in certain towns and cities of Austria. Then while our politicians are spending our tax money, we, the private households, have to pay 80% of all taxes. So the income of the government is mainly consisting out of VAT, income tax, and then social welfare. And it's mostly private households who are paying this and not so much companies anymore. Meanwhile, we have real troubles with our healthcare system, which is compulsory, mandatory for everybody to pay. But still, even though we pour millions and millions into our healthcare system, which I'm really glad that we have actually, you will have to wait a year to get an appointment with a children's physician. Yeah, really awesome. Yeah, then also now with the 1st of April, apparently electric vehicles will get taxed the same way they tax a diesel car or gas car, for example. So they will have about the same taxes, which is based on CO2 emissions. So a lot of people who have invested in an electric car are now disappointed. And yeah, they also don't get any tax exemptions anymore. So it's quite a losing game. And now a lot of less e-cars are getting sold because people are not stupid and they are buying less and less e-cars. And also because Trump has put a custom on cars, European cars. So if you export cars from Europe to the USA, it's now 25% customs, which is a lot. So now even, you know, the European politicians realize that this is too much. So now they want to delay the CO2 fines for car builders. So they have planned to fine car manufacturers if they're not building enough of e-cars and selling not enough of e-cars. But this fine now they will delay because otherwise, yeah, the car manufacturers will go bankrupt. Yeah, then also Austrians will pay about 45% more for electricity. And that's because we had a cap on electricity prices because the electricity was shooting through the roof. But now this is ending, and from now on we will pay 45% more, which is quite a lot. And I'm just wondering how all of the pensioners and all of the people who are alone, single mothers, single fathers, single people will pay for this. Yeah, then also we will get more taxes because why not, you know, if you can press out more taxes out of the commoners, then why not take it? So actually now we have a new government which is consisting out of the left, the neoliberals and the conservatives. And they are planning a tax hammer for Austrians. So now, as we said before, there will be new taxes on electric cars, but also there will be VAT on photovoltaic systems. And there will be an increase in tobacco tax and on bets. So if you are betting, like for example on a soccer game, the fee is now 5% instead of 2%. Yeah, then we have a huge problem. A lot of companies are leaving Austria and this is ripping a huge hole into the government's tax money. So that's a huge problem as well. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this week and it's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. I don't know how we will survive this. I don't know how future generations are going to pay back the debts. I think the system here will collapse. That's one possibility. I don't know. So the inflation is bad. Everything is getting more expensive. People are spending less money. And it's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for a lot of people to keep their wealth, to keep their houses, to keep their flats, to have property. I think property now is more important than everything else. You certainly don't want to rent because then you are a slave to the system. And you're also a slave to the system if you have a house or, you know, if you have a flat, but still you have it better. You have it better if you have your own property. So I'm a fan of property. Alright guys, so this is it for today. I really want to thank you for watching and I think I'm going to make a separate Twitter channel where I'm going to upload all of these news update videos. So that's just a backup in case something happens to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to have 2 Twitter accounts. The first one is about survival skills, which is called SurvivalLilly. And the second account is going to be about media. I'm just not sure yet about the name. So if you have any name ideas for my Twitter account, which is about news, then let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching guys and stay tuned till next time.